This is When I Grow Up with Paul Glazby.
Welcome, Nicole. Thanks for being here on the When I Grow Up podcast.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we met in my other life as a real estate agent.
Yeah,
We met at an urban hut,
we did.
and somehow, and I don't know how, but you mentioned that you were from Adelaide.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that I used to be a DJ, and my biggest fan base is in Adelaide.
Yeah.
And then you said that you used to go to Enchanted Forest, and I'm like, oh my God, I used to DJ. So I love these Forrest Gump moments where lives kind of intertwine a little bit. One of the lawyers that I work with all the time, who's one of my real good friends now, Chris, he was at Enchanted Forest.
No way.
And never even realised until recently, actually, we were talking about it. He's like, I used to go to that gig. I'm like, I was there. I was the DJ.
Too funny. Yeah, the world is very small. When moments like that happen, it's cool. I think you got to pay attention to them. Yeah.
So you've had a varied sort of career, life, just like I have, and that's what this podcast is all about. It's about interesting background, because you kind of ending up where you never expected to be. So from Adelaide, as a clubbing teenager, I assume.
Early 20s, yeah.
Early teens.
Yeah.
Where did you go from there?
So at that time, I was possibly still in law school, possibly graduated and started my first job. So I first worked in GST, advising the state government, Treasury and Finance Department on the implementation of GST when that came in. So that's how far back I go. And then I worked in Adelaide for about another 3 years after that, went into private practice and became an insolvency lawyer. Yeah. So and actually at that time was sort of when my interest in what is now my career, my job started. I was always really into fitness. I had always, my whole life, I grew up dancing. And so when I started working and I couldn't get to dance class anymore, that's when I joined the gym, and I would do cardio and les mills and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go get my qualifications. I want to teach. I want to be an aerobics teacher. So I never finished it at the time, though, because I just started working and I had massive student debt. And I thought, you know what, I can't afford to make a living on step classes. There was nothing online at that time. Again, back it goes. So, but, you know, I would stick with the lawyer gig for a while. So I worked in Adelaide for a few years, and then I moved up to the Gold Coast in around 2004. Worked for another few years, and the firm that I was working with at the time, not long after I started, half the team that I was working with decided to defect and start their own firm. So I was like, this place is a circus. Like, I'm out of here. This is not the stable environment that I came up here for. Like, we're going to find another job. And they said, like, please stay. We don't, we need some stability here. I'm like, listen, I need some time off. I never took a gap year from year after uni or anything to travel. So I decided to travel and went away for about 4 months, backpacking around the world. Went to Europe and Southeast Asia, and that just had a blast, and came back and thought, you know what, I need to be somewhere else so that I can travel in. So that's what ended up leading me to end up in Bermuda. So I came back from that 4-month stint and saved up some money, worked a little bit longer, and then started applying for jobs in around 2007. And was planning to leave, it was around when the global financial crisis just was kicking off. And so...
Good time for fun.
Yeah. So, whether it was me probably not good enough for the roles or what, I was actually planning on going to London. I had ancestry, so I thought I'll go there for 5 years, a great launching pad to travel, do some more stuff through Europe. And that was the plan. I was going to go work there, and I couldn't get a job. Maybe I wasn't qualified. I don't know. Global financial crisis, we'll blame that. Nobody was hiring. And so the agent that was helping me out said, you're an insolvency lawyer. I'm a litigation insolvency lawyer. Hedge funds are going under, global financial crisis. Look offshore, go to Bermuda, Cayman, and BVI. And so I thought they were just tourist destinations. I don't know what's there. So I Googled Bermuda. Thought, oh, that looks pretty. Pink sand, nice island. send my CV, and I got the job.
Good.
So that was sort of the beginning of my stint in Bermuda, and I thought I'll go there for a couple of years, and then I'll go to London and stick with the original plan, and ended up there for 14. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They call it the golden handcuffs there. Once you're in, you're lost in the Bermuda Triangle. That's how it happens. So you just get there. It's a great lifestyle. So you can stay. Yeah.
Well, what's the cost of living there? Like, is it sort of...
Apparently, I haven't checked in recent times since I moved back to Australia, but it makes pretty often the top most expensive per capita place to live in the world.
No.
Yeah, so it's very expensive.
But if you're earning big money there, it can be
relative. Yeah, there is a lot of lower economic financial circumstance there. And yes, if you've got a good job, then it's relative. Anyway, but cost of living is relative. Yeah. So,
a bit like London.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a mate years ago. In fact, he's coming on the podcast in a few weeks. He's one of the top producers in hard house or dance music. His name's BK. He's his artist now. And I always remember I went down to do a track with him. And he was living in London. And I just bought a house in Sheffield, and he just bought this house in London. And we both paid exactly the same amount. I'm not going to say how much it was, but his house was this, I think it was a 2-bedroom place, tiny little 2-bedroom kind of, not a terrace, but, like semi-detached. You put in England, semi-detached. But it was just this tiny little, and I'd bought this 5-bedroom, massive place. And I'm like, mate, why? Because being an artist, being a music producer is a bit like being, any kind of writer. You could do it anywhere. If you've got quick. Yeah. And I'm like, mate, why do you live here? Like, you could have twice the house, somewhere else. And he's like, being here, he said, I can go to HMV in the middle of the night. I can order a Chinese takeaway at 3 a.m. And he reeled off all these things. And I'm like, when have you ever done any of those? And he went, well, I haven't, but if I want to,
then I can.
Yeah. But then years later, I think he moved out of London. I think he found me. I don't know. But anyway, we could catch up with him in a few weeks. So while you're in is it the Caribbean? Is that right?
Bermuda's not actually part of the Caribbean. It's a lot further north. It's kind of hanging out in the Atlantic all by itself, about 700 miles off of the coast of North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I did geography. I did history.
I didn't know where it was either. I'm like, Mom, I'm moving to Bermuda. We pulled out the atlas. I'm like, can't even see it. It's just a speck. Yeah.
I see what freaked me out the other day. I was a property that I'm selling, and she's got this globe on, like an ornament. And you can turn the globe to a certain position where you can see a tiny bit of land on that side, but it's all water.
Yeah,
no, it's like I think it must be the Pacific. Like,
wow,
yeah, it's crazy. I didn't think there was that much with no land.
We're gonna have to go get a globe then.
Unless this globe's dodgy, I don't want. So while you're there, that's when you then got into your figure. Was it?
Yeah, into the bodybuilding side of things. Yeah, so a few years into Bermuda, actually, I seem to have fallen into a lot of things in life. I kind of fell into the bodybuilding as well. Fell into going to Bermuda because that was never my plan. And then I actually started salsa dancing when I was there. So got right into the community, salsa dancing, performing, doing Christmas shows, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was fun. And my dance partner, was working with a coach in the gym to improve his flexibility because he used to pick me up and spin me over his head and like all this stuff. Anyway, he had to be able to squat low enough for me to actually climb up onto his shoulders, right? So he was working with his coach, and his flexibility improved so much. I said, listen, I was going to the gym and stuff. I was in that gym, but I'd never met this coach. And I said, I want to meet this guy. I need to shake this man's hand. This is amazing, your progress. And so I met the coach. Anyway, the message comes back through me, through my dance partner. Like, hey, he wouldn't mind having a chat with you if you're interested in bodybuilding, competing. And I'm like, huh? what does that even involve? So kind of when, falling into Bermuda, falling into the salsa dancing, then into the bodybuilding, I'm like, I'll give it a crack. I'll just give it a go. Can't hurt for a year. And so I first started out doing the fitness category. So that involves not just judging on your physique, but also you have to do a 90-second routine to music, which shows athleticism, like flexibility, strength. Essentially, there's some compulsory moves in there, like high kicks and body weight holds and splits and things like that you have to put in there. So I started doing that because the coach that I started working with, his partner at the time, it was either do fitness or do figure. There was no bikini at that time. And not in Bermuda anyway. And his partner at the time was basically the Bermuda champ in figure. And I looked at her and I looked at me. All I'd done is cardio. I had no muscle on my body whatsoever. So I'm like, I've got a long way to go before I stand up next to her. So I'll do fitness. It ties in with my dad saying I can have a creative outlet. So I did that for the first time. I think I started training with him in 2011. Competed for the first time in 12. And then I was hooked. I started competing for Bermuda, got like picked for the teams to go. Bermuda was part of the Caribbean, I think Central and South America too, or at least Central America. Yeah, Central America region at the time. So yeah, I got to travel with the team, go compete on other islands and other jurisdictions, which was very, very cool. And quite an honor as an expat as well, to be chosen to compete for Bermuda. Yeah, so that started out. I was at the time...
When were you at that point?
How old? 35. So I didn't start weightlifting until I was 35. Yeah. So prior to that, it's just cardio bunny. I avoided the weight room like the plague. Yeah. So, so after that time too, I started taking gymnastics lessons for the first time ever in life so that I could improve my routines and stuff. That is hard. Like, hats off to gymnasts. That stuff is hard. So I was taking gymnastics lessons twice a week, private classes, training for these comps. I did the fitness category for 3 years, and then I got too efficient. It was really hard on the body because I was trying to build muscle and then also do all of that, like effectively cardio work as well, like with the training for the routines as well. It's a really hard category, tough on your body. And then bikini started coming out in...
So just to explain the difference then. So you've got what was it?
Fitness, yeah.
So that's where you're dancing around and doing a routine.
Yeah.
And then figure and bikini are basically just posing, is that right?
Yeah, so figure has well, at least at that time anyway, I'm not sure how things have changed. I haven't competed for quite some time, but figure, the look that you're going for with your physique was similar to fitness. Similar. So more muscular, a little bit leaner than bikini, which was sort of like athletic, muscle tone, but not too lean. You don't want to have like, the lines in your muscles and things like that. Yeah. So it was meant to be, I guess, a healthier look. Yeah. Like something that's quote attainable. So and that's just posing.
Right.
Yeah. So you don't have to do the routine and all that goes with that. So just as hard to get into shape, but without the extra work in that sense.
Yeah. Well, my about 2 girls and their mom, she did before they came on, she was doing figure. And I remember the first year she did it, she won, I think. She either won or came second. If she ever hears this, I've got it wrong, she'll go. She did really well anyway. Yeah. But then the second year, because they kind of changed the judging criteria in the second year, there was much more emphasis on, like, the woman, I think she ended up coming like 5th or 6th or something. Yeah. Because all the women that won were just like, like the big shoulders, and it was completely different. And she just got,
Yeah, and it's such a subjective sport. It's hard to know how to turn up, how to prepare your body, because a lot depends on, at least, from what my coaches taught me, and as I was educating myself through that journey myself, I did this for 8 years. So it was, a lot depends on who turns up on the day and what condition they're in. Because if you got the majority of girls up on stage like what you've just described, well, even if last year or last time it was a different look thereafter, well, they've got the majority of people that look like that now, so that's what they're judging. So it was kind of hard to sort of know. Like, it felt like to me the goalposts were always changing, but it does depend. You don't know who's going to turn up on the day, and it's subjective, really. So yeah, which was to me kind of part of I call it the excitement of it, but just like, you just got to do your best for you and just turn up on stage in the best shape of what you know you can do.
Yeah.
And, you know, the rest is just like, am I going to be what they're looking for on the day? I don't know. So,
But the other thing as well is in that sport where even if you know who's turning up, you don't really know. So as an example, like Dorian Yates, like that guy, he came back 1 year and was like significantly bigger.
Yeah.
Obviously with women it's not quite the same, but a lot of this, you know, performance enhancing that people get into, and obviously like Dorian Yates came back at the year after, you know, from the year before, he looked like a completely different person and was absolutely massive, and everyone's like, what?
yeah.
So you can have an element of that, can't you? You can be like, oh yeah, Jenny's coming, and then Jenny walks through the door and she's got, you know,
Jenny doesn't look like Jenny anymore. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was kind of like, it was part of the thrill of it, I guess, too. Like, I guess in a way, frustrating, but also that's the nature of the sport we signed up for.
Yeah. So you were saying when we met that you always stayed away from that side of things.
The illegal side of things?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. It was offered to me many, many times. I should be clear, not by my Bermuda coach. Just in case anyone from Bermuda ever listens to this, I still have a lot of time and respect for that man. Like, he started my journey in fitness. So no. But it was around, and I knew where I could get it if I ever wanted it and who to talk to. But yeah, so we're going into that story now, aren't we?
Yeah,
let's go to that story. Yeah, so my final year of competing, or what turned out to be my final year of competing, I'd had a couple of different coaches then, like over the last few years of training and competing, and this particular coach was, I guess, known to be a fan of it. I'm trying to be really diplomatic with my words. Yeah. Anyway, so it was offered. It was highly recommended, and I was like, no, I'm a partner of an international law firm. Like, it doesn't, like, it's completely like not integral to me anyway. And then notwithstanding, like, you're going to bring in illegal jobs, and I'm a partner of a law firm. Doesn't say a lot for my career, so that'll be a no, thanks. And as time went on and on through my prep, that was a high prep. He just crushed me, absolutely crushed me. Low calories, training twice a day, 7 days a week, cardio twice a day. By the last, the last few weeks leading into prep anyway, it's probably about 6 weeks out. And my prep was about 20 weeks, I think. I was on about 1,100 calories, and he was telling me that I had to burn 700 of those in cardio, let alone my weight training and having my brain functioning for work and, living. So, like, what exactly am I living on here? Like, I was not in a good place, and mentally not in a good place. You think about it, I was basically starving my body. So my brain function, I'm going to caveat this story, my brain function was not on point during this time.
Disclaimer.
Heavy disclaimer. And, his response to me was basically, well, you're a natural athlete. You just have to work harder. And I was like, wow, like, thanks, like, this sucks. But I was so blindsided by it. I've been working for like a good, probably 2.5 years by that time, really trying to get my professional status in bodybuilding. And so I was like, this is it. Like, this is the comp. I know I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. Quite best shape, probably the worst health. But anyway, and this was really my chance. It was a local Bermuda show, international show, but a Bermuda show. I knew I had a really good shot at getting pro. So I was like, I got to do what it takes. So I was working my butt off for it. And every time I do a check-in, well, you can take this and that, and it will be easier for you. And when you hear that, and you hear that, and you hear that, and you see your teammate who did, and, was there on the same island, on the same trip, and with the same coach, and you have a conversation, and they're like complaining that they're eating 3,000 calories and tired and sore and hungry, and I'm like, I won't swear, but F you. I'm at 1100, I'm dying. Like, I don't even know how I'm functioning at this point. I was in such poor health. And so I caved. Like, I'm like, all right, where do I get this? Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm 4 weeks out or 5 weeks out from comp. I'm not giving up because that's just like not my nature. I'm not giving up, and I don't think I can do this anymore. So in my coma state of brain, disclaimer again, I ordered this stuff out of Canada or something. I don't know where it came from anyway. It was like some medical facility. So two different PEDs I ordered. And so I ordered them, paid for them, and it started the delivery process. And in Bermuda, you have, it's very difficult to get anything post into Bermuda, right? It just takes forever. And so what we have is like a US mailbox kind of thing, where everything goes to a warehouse in Jersey, and then they send it across. So anyway, I'd ordered it to come there. It's relevant because it never made it to Bermuda, thank God. But I woke up in the middle of the night one night with this just like panic, thinking, I obviously had a moment of clarity in my brain. I'm like, I really should check the Prohibited Substances Act, make sure that these things are like, maybe they're just bad, but they're not illegal. Okay.
Let me guess, they were super.
Yeah, super illegal. Super illegal. One of them carried a 10-year jail sentence, potentially at the highest level of conviction. But I was like, oh my God. I remember sitting on the bench of my kitchen at like 1 a.m, just tears streaming down my face, like, what have I done? And I'm like rocking. And I'm like, what have I done? What am I going to do? And so panic ensued, and I'm like, I'm trying to track, if you've ever tried to track a parcel through the US, like, that is impossible. You cannot get hold of anybody. I'm phoning like US priority, like me or whatever the hell.
Don't track it when you want the parcel, but when you don't want it.
Yeah, like, I don't want this. Can you send it back? Like, I couldn't get hold of anybody. Like, I'll track this parcel. I don't know where it is. No one picks up the phone. I'm just like, oh my God, like, there's something I could do here. And so like the next day or whatever, after I'd tried a couple of times to try and stop this thing in transit, so I thought if I can stop it before it comes, obviously, like, I can probably it can't cross the border into Bermuda. I was saying to my partner, and I'm just like, I don't know, sitting on the living room floor, just like, what are we going to do? He's like, we? What do you mean we? You did this. I'm like, no, I need help.
Has anybody partner in?
No. No. Anyway, he did show up for me. Thankfully, Bermuda is a small place, and so he knew the guy in the Bermuda office of like the mail, the US mail kind of box service.
Yeah.
When it comes into Bermuda, you go and you collect it from like basically the mail service place, and he knew the guy who owned that. So he picks up the phone. He's like, let me call him. Let me see what we can do. And so we got on the phone, explained the situation rather delicately without saying too much. And then he called Jersey. And then we're on the phone to them, like, you have to stop this. Like, this can't get on the plane. Don't let it get on the plane. Have you found the package? Like, take a video of you destroying it. I want to see it in the bin. And they did. They sent me a video of like breaking the stuff and putting it in the bin. I was like, oh my God. See, my whole career just flashed before my eyes. Wow. So what a dumbass move. So yeah, so that was my near criminal activity as a partner of a law firm. Good judgment. Yeah.
Do you ever wonder though what it would have been like to take those and how it would have felt?
Yeah. A lot easier, I suspect. Yeah, I wouldn't have been quite so hungry. Would have had more muscle. So it would have been like keep the muscle.
Would have been like Jenny, the big shoulder.
Yeah, right. I remember actually sitting at that comp, and our coach had come over he didn't live in Bermuda, and he came over, and I was in the dressing room with like having a chat with him and like my teammate who took the other path, and he's looking at my physique and like, to toot my own horn a little bit, considering I was a natural athlete, I got in really good shape that year. And he's like, wow, imagine if she took stuff. And I was like, you know what? Don't talk to me. Like, once this night is done, we are over. So that was that. I'm like, and I've never competed again. That was it. It kind of ruined it for me, unfortunately. Because I love the sport, but I was so damaged mentally, physically from that I just didn't want to wave the flag for natural athletes anymore. I thought, if this is honestly what I have to do, I didn't get my pro card that night. Guess who did?
Oh, Juicy loser.
Like, yeah. And I came runner up. So it was just like, not bitter at all still. But but I just thought, you know what, if that's, and that's where the sport is going. And cool, like if that's what you want to do, cool, that's your choice, you know. You do your body, your choices. It's not my choice. And I thought, I don't want to have to go put myself through this. And I think the sport has, I don't know, it's been about 6 years since then. I like to think that hopefully it has gotten a little bit healthier in the way that people diet and get ready for shows. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of use of PEDs around, particularly with women still in the sport, but it just wasn't my choice. I don't want to do that. So I thought, you know, I'm just hanging up the sparkly shoes or the sparkly bikini. That's it. So yeah, that was it.
Do you still have the bikini?
I do. Several of them, actually. They're worth a lot of money.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't think I fit them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you go into any gym. I mean, there's 3 or 4 gyms along here. Like, there'll be, obviously, the guys, but there'll be women that are just recreational, not even competing, that'll be taking stuff, for sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. To me, it's crazy. But
you know, so it goes.
yeah, guess.
So, but then off the back of that, then you got into assuming. That's how you ended up doing what you're doing now. So just
So
tell us a bit about it.
I started my business earlier that year, actually. So that was my first year into coaching, but it really did enhance my coaching thing after that. So earlier, you know, when I was back in Adelaide and just started my law career, and I thought, like, I would go get my qualifications. I never finished them because I'm like, I can't afford to survive teaching step classes. So that kind of got shelved for around like 15, 18 years. And then as I got into my own bodybuilding, I wanted to understand better, like the female physiology. I wanted to understand the science behind it. I wanted to understand food because, like, I was kind of coached in like bro kind of way. Like, I think my grocery list comprised of maybe 7 or 8 things every single week. Like, I just ate the same thing every day.
Like rice.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet potato and almonds. Like, almonds were a treat. Like, it was getting it. And I'm like, this can't be it, right? So, and my coaches never really taught that side of it. It was your training and you eat this and like that's your meal plan basically, and that's it. So I wanted to educate myself and understand how nutrition like fed into all of this and how I could better support my body. So I went and did my qualifications like in 2014. So I'd had them for a while, and then through my experiences bodybuilding and also the quote bad side of that too, like every year I was gaining and losing the same, it's gonna be pounds, whatever it is in kilos, but like 25, 30 pounds, 12 kilos, whatever that is, gaining, losing, because I was so restricted when I was in prep. So I come off of a comp. I used to like take a big bag just full of chocolate and candy and brownies and everything, so that after the comp, just literally stuffed my face until I was sick. And that would then continue because I'd been so restricted.
Just like me on a Saturday.
It's like, just every weekend. So this was like every year until I got to the point where I was competing multiple times a year. But I was just like in this cycle of like gaining, losing the same weight. And every time I tried to lose it, it would get harder. So like a few years into this, when I started to educate myself, I'm like, this is what a lot of women do to themselves when they're just trying to lose weight. Generally, right? They're gaining and losing the same weight because they don't understand their physiology. They don't understand nutrition. They don't understand how to train properly for it, or how to get out of the diet phase without stacking all the weight back on again. I'm like, and then I also had repercussions from overtraining, being, loss of my cycle, loss of hair, energy level. My thyroid was taped. I was put on medication for low thyroid. Really, I just needed to take a break. Like, it was just like training and underfed. As soon as I took a break, my thyroid came back online. It was fine. But like, this is stuff that now as a coach, I hear all the time because women are overtraining and under eating. So I was like, I can actually help people with this. Like, this is not the vibe. This is not the way forward. So yeah, I started my coaching business in early 2019 and was doing that part-time while I was still doing everything else in Bermuda, working as a lawyer and still competing at least for that year anyway. That was
So when I'm trying to get the timeline. So that was...
So that was early 2019 I started coaching, and my last competition was at the end of that year.
Well,
yeah. So
time for COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so actually worked out well for me because everyone went online to training. So yeah.
The one Zoom.
Yeah.
The stock improved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So you just train exclusively women, though?
I do, yeah. I did start, when I first started coaching, I did train men as well, coach men. And decided pretty quickly not to do that.
Yeah.
No offense. It just, So I just went to just women.
Yeah. So, I mean, because I used to own gyms, and like our demographic was probably, like, we had everybody. Like, our youngest member was a 14-year-old girl. She used to come with a mom. And we had a 70-year-old guy. In fact, I found out just a few months ago now, but he passed away. He came old.
Yeah.
Well, by nearly 80, so lovely guy as well. But anyway, he was our oldest member, David, and then we had everybody in between. But the membership was probably 70-30 women.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was group training that we did.
Yeah.
Because it all started by, I used to do personal training clients, and then I started a boot camp, and the boot camp was all body weight. But the personal training that I did was obviously dumbbells, barbells, but then like TRX, kettlebells, scaffold rope, all that stuff. And I remember doing the boot camp one day, and I had like 35 people in a session, doing bodyweight squats and lunges and press ups, and I'm like, there's got to be more. And it was like in a church hall.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be more to it than this, I'm thinking, how can I? And at the time, I was watching these guys. There's a guy, Elliot Hulse, and I don't know who the other guy was, but they had these warehouse gyms, so like in a factory unit.
Yeah.
But they were doing a lot of real strength training, like with the Atlas stones and but I was like watching these guys do their thing, and so then I inquired, and we ended up hiring renting a warehouse from the Sheffield Council. It was one of their buildings, and we fitted it out, and the fit out wasn't even, we just had to put a couple of showers in. There was already toilets there to put a couple of showers in. And then all the TRXs were fitted to like the metal girders and everything, and it was just a big open space.
Right.
And then we started doing that, and we did, instead of having 35 in a session, we got it down to, depending on the session, 10 or 12. And then we used to do supersets on everything. So it was like 6 on one side, 6 on the other. They might be doing lunges, they might do press ups, and then swap.
Yeah.
So that was the the format there. But the difference between men and women is men try and lift too much, and women won't lift enough. Yeah. Very true. I always used to say to women, like, getting from the car to the house, you've got 2 shopping bags in one hand, you've got a toddler that weighs probably 18 kilos under your arm, and now you're scared of these 4-kilo dumbbells.
Exactly. Because I'm going to get bulky.
Yeah, I don't want to get bulky. It's like, you've just been farmers carrying like 40 kilos, and now you're scared of 4 kilos. Like what you make up?
Make it make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was, so our thing was, we guarantee drop a dress size in 30 days. So people would come, the first month was like kind of half price. They'd do the program. If they didn't drop a dress size, they got the money back. If they wanted to carry on, they could, it was, so there was no risk. But the sessions were hard.
Yeah.
We catered, at the beginning, I was doing all the sessions. But I used to like to think I had, the sort of skill to modify for that person and push that so that even in a group session where you're all doing the same things, it's a different workout for that person than it is for that person, but these women, and some of them were like young, like when I say young girls, like early 20s, and they drop a dress size, and then we used to, I think it was 2 inches off your waist, or your hips, or both. Good. That was the sort of the measure.
The benchmark.
And they'd lose 2 inches the first month, and they'd lose another 2 inches. Then it'd get to month 3, and they've only lost an inch. I'm like, oh no. And they'd be disappointed. You can't keep losing 2 inches. Like, where do you think it's going to go? Like, look at you. You're like, some of these women, they got like visible abs. It's like, you can't keep losing that amount, and then at a certain point, it got to where people were kind of getting, those sessions weren't serving them anymore. So then we started doing what we call performance. Performance was more heavy lifting.
Okay.
It was still in a group setting. So, some of the sessions we did were, but, and it still goes now. Like the guy that used to be my head trainer, he bought me out when because I'd moved over here.
Yeah.
And Annalise, who was the manager, she had a rough time, and her grandma passed still living. And things went a bit rocky because she was obviously, her mind was elsewhere. And I had the choice was to go back for at least 6 months and try and, steer the ship. But I just didn't care back then. I've been living over here for years, and I was sort of too removed from it.
Yeah.
I've gone more into the marketing side of things.
Yeah.
But so Danny just said, look, I'll just buy you out. I said, I want to run it my way. I don't want, you involved in much.
Very hardest.
And that's how I ended up being a real estate agent. Yeah. Because I was 40 years old.
Yeah.
And I'd sold out of that business.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, if Danny hadn't bought it, it would have been, it would have just dissolved.
Dissolved, yeah. And it's still going.
It's still going, yeah. My sister still works.
That's awesome. I'm really That's cool.
Because a lot of my trainers were people that came, completely changed their life, then wanted to be a trainer, qualified as a trainer, and then started working. So, I mean, that was good because they could empathise with people a lot better. Like some of the trainers that we had that were just trainers, like the first guy I ever employed, Colin, great kid. What, maybe, gosh, I think I was 20, can't think how old I was. I would have been 30, I would have been 31, I think, 32, he was 19. So he's about 12, 13 years younger than me. So he'll be 34 now. Yeah. He's got a kid of his own. But he said to me once, he went, I don't know, because I'd been overweight and lost weight and then became a trainer and all that, so I could empathise with people. I used to sit with people and say, look, don't worry about what your diet's like. Be honest, because it will never be as bad as what mine is. Because mine used to be fucking horrendous. But I knew what it was like to be in the shape. Yeah, and Cole said to me, he said, I just don't know what that feels like. I've never had that because it's just always been, sporty at school. And then, so, I think having, not that you have to have been overweight to be empathetic, but it certainly helped.
Yeah, for sure. When you can have that level of relatability that you experience some part of what somebody's going through, creates a better connection.
Like you said, with the yo-yo sort of dieting, the thing is, your star position would probably where most people would like their hand position to be.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly. I mean, when I first started bodybuilding, I was still that. I was the same woman that, that I coach now that, was doing a ton of cardio, just, watching what I eat, that would frig it all up on the weekends.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah. But probably under eating and then wondering why my body wasn't changing. And
not eating any fat.
No, I don't eat the fit to what I was eating. I just know when I was hungover and working on the weekends, it would be a Pepsi Max, a blueberry muffin, and some of those like sweet cherry chips. That was my hangover cure.
Okay.
So that's how I would figure it up on the weekend. Back there, I used to drink a bit. But I'd watch what I eat and start again on Monday and get back into my cardio and try and burn off the calories, like all the things that I coach now, right? So I was that person. And then couldn't understand why my body wasn't changing. I was never happy with how I looked until I started putting some muscle on it. I'm like, oh, this is how we get some shape. So yeah. So in that sense, like back then, walked that path, and then understanding the yo-yo dieting, even though my yo-yo dieting, I suppose, can be looked at, well, that was the extreme, like that was almost on purpose or strategic, and like it kind of wasn't. Like I was still going through the emotional binge restrict, like, and all the things that come with that, and the emotional side of that as well. Not being happy with your body for most of the year, and then it's like, oh, go back into restriction. Yes, comp-prep. Like I can get small again. So yeah.
And also, I guess, like for you, you were working towards like that competition, and then once that's what a lot of people do. Like I want to get fit for my holiday. I want to. It's not like an ongoing thing where you can. You get to a point that you can then maintain and be happy.
Exactly.
All the time. I think that's what people sort of. There's a saying it was something about being on holiday. We might have to edit this. It took me too long to think about that. But yeah, for people to get into that mindset of like, rather than it being just something I'm doing until.
Yeah.
That's if you can get past that and it be
100%.
I am this is how I live.
This is who I am.
And finding the balance where you're not hating what you're doing, but you can put up with it for a few weeks or a few months because your holiday's coming in October, whatever.
Yeah.
And get it to a point where you just enjoy life. And, I recently, I don't want to make a big deal about it because I've been 2.5 weeks. But I stopped drinking and everyone was like, oh, you're doing dry July. I didn't even realise. It just happened to be that the last drink I had was at the end of June.
Yeah.
And there's a bottle of red on the shelf at home that's still unopened. And that's like a bit of a symbol for me at the moment. And there's been a couple, like at the weekend, I'm like, you just have a couple. I'm like, no, I just don't. Because as soon as, if I have a couple, then I can't say I've not had a drink, I'm not drunk for X amount of weeks.
Breaking a streak and breaking from making yourself right.
So, but I'm drinking shitloads of tea. I know now where teetotal comes from. I'm drinking like 8 or 9 cups of tea a day. Like,
wow.
Because I'm trying to cut down the coffee as well. So I'm having tea instead of coffee. I'm having tea instead of alcohol.
God, full of English.
Yeah, exactly. I drink Tetley extra strong. But I was just getting not out of control, like I was, smashed all the time. But I was getting where I was drinking quite a lot, but not even feeling it.
Mm.
And then, like a few weeks ago, I'm like, why am I'm not even enjoying this? Like I'm feeling like all,
Yeah.
fucked up, but like
You've got the ramifications, but not the good stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, and I'm like, why am I even doing this? And then and then the fact, like I said, the fact that I'd drink and then just be like, I feel I wouldn't drive, but I feel like I feel with it enough that I could, like, whereas the amount that I've drunk, I should be not feeling like I could.
So then you've got like the diminishing effects of, yeah.
Well, I'm a tolerance.
Your tolerance level, that's what I was going to say.
Getting so high. Yeah, and then, I've got some prescription marijuana. I'll have some of that as well. And that's when I feel a bit fucked up then. Like, I drink and smoke, but then I've not done that either. I've just not had anything. I don't really feel any different in myself.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, well, this stuff becomes a habit, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly.
And it's just breaking the habit.
Yeah.
To get back to.
No, some no vanity.
Yeah, for feeling good, hopefully, but yeah.
Well, I've got so much going on at the minute as well. I mean, obviously, like with the podcast, just normal work. There's other things that I'm sort of involved in. Like I'm like, I need to be
clean-minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to be
on
it. It's a bit like when I was DJing. I was talking about this a few weeks ago. I had E&M, who's like one of my all-time sort of DJ heroes. And I remember the night where I decided to stop taking any drugs, or at least when I'm DJ. And it was the night I had to follow him. He DJ'd in Sheffield. Mm-hmm. And it was just one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. And then I had to play after him. And earlier in the night, I'd have, oh, just give me half, I'll be all right. It's hours before I play. And then it got to like half an hour before I was playing. And I'm like, I just still the whole life looked up. And then I went in and then struggled through this set. And it was that night that I'm like, right, never again.
Yeah.
I'm going to make something of DJ, which to me, make something would have been like play the next town over, not, travel the world for 20 years.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can still remember that. And I'm at that point now where I'm like, why am I?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to a party and enjoying it. I'm literally just sitting in the house watching TV and just getting, I'm not even getting smashed. I'm just drinking loads of booze and not even feeling anything, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like, all right, enough seen.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah, thanks. So your business, like, just because I don't think we've even sort of mentioned, like, so you do online coaching for women. So how do you work with your clients?
So I help women, generally 35 plus, who want to be getting toned, strong, lean, maybe think it's a bit too late for them. Trying all the things, nothing's really working. Help them get out of that trap of restriction. Help them get out of the trap of the ineffective workouts that they're doing, so that they can see that their smoke show body that they wanted hasn't gone to die after 35. Like, they can still actually do it. It's not too late. They've just been doing it wrong.
Is that because you started at 35? Is that the cut-off point so you could?
Well, I mean, it's a bit of an arbitrary cut-off for me. Somebody came to me at 34. I'm not going to say no.
No,
right?
No, but I mean, like that can.
Yeah, it resonates with me because I've lived that. Like we were just talking before, like that relatability, and a lot of that comes from anything that I think that you do in life. If you've walked the walk and you've done it yourself, then you understand.
That's what I think. And then pictures that people see of you would be after 35.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You should see the pictures, by the way.
Thank you. So yeah, it's all online. So everything is in an app, everything's customized. So I've got clients all over the world, which is awesome. Still a big connection in Bermuda, which I absolutely love since I've moved back. I've been back nearly 3 years now. So it's still great to have that connection. So yeah, we get you strong with strength training, get off the cardio, hamster wheel, get you strength training. And particularly this is like a big passion of mine because, after 30, women are losing muscle year after year. And yes, we want to look good now. Nothing wrong with that. All for looking good, looking in the mirror and freaking loving what you see. But also a big philosophy of mine is longevity. And I'm doing this for my 80-year-old body. So I want my 80-year-old body to still be mobile, agile, have good bone density. If I fall over, I'm not breaking a hip. I can open my own jars. I'm independent. I'm not diseased because I looked after my nutrition. So that's part of the philosophy that I sort of weave through all of my coaching and we were just talking about it before, people want to get on a diet and lose weight because they've got a holiday coming up or it's their birthday or something like that. It's like, no, I get that mentality, but you want...
It's your 80th birthday.
Yeah, start training for your 80th birthday. Exactly. And this has to be a lifestyle. You have to become the person who just lives that healthy, fit, strong life. Mentally, emotionally, and physically. Because otherwise it's not going to stick. And so that's a lot of my philosophy that weaves through all of my coaching. So, I make sure they've got a rock solid mindset. We work on all of that underlying stuff that is keeping them stuck, keeping them sabotaging. Strength training, important, very important. Everybody needs to be getting ladies strength training. And then focusing on nutrition as well, because a lot of women watch what they eat clean, through a lot of, that's the way they know how to diet, eat less, just half the portion on their plate that they've actually really got. And no fault of their own, nobody's taught them, but they don't have any idea actually how much they're eating, what that nutritional composition is, how it's fueling their body. And so they find themselves, I'm barely eating and I can't lose weight. It's like, well, you probably trashed your metabolism for years of yo-yo dieting. And so you're a bit stuck. And or the flip side of that could also be you might not be eating very much that looks like much on your plate. It might be small, but it's really dense in calories. And they don't know and understand that. So, knowledge is power to me. So I want all of my ladies to know this stuff, to understand it, to like be able to look at a plate of food and be like, I know what that represents to me and what that's doing for my body.
Yes.
So yeah, that's another one of my core values and philosophies that go through my coaching. So we've got some straight training, the focus on nutrition and education around that, actually knowing what's on your plate, understanding your calories, also knowing how like different phases of dieting too. Like so many women live in a dieting phase, in a diet. Like it's not a phase to them, it's a lifestyle. Like dieting is not a lifestyle, it's a phase. So teaching the phases that we'll need to go through in order to support your body to get to the goal that you want. Like it's not just you can't diet forever, like what you were saying. It's like you end up eating nothing. You can't keep losing weight forever. Yeah, and your body won't. It's going to fight you tooth and nail at some point, right? So teaching that, implementing phases, having a strategy, and all of that wrapped up online so that they can work out whenever they want. They don't need me right there, so it's very user-friendly, I guess, there's a lot of online coaching right these days with the advent of that, career, be like 10, 15 years now, really. So it's a great method because they can do it whenever they want. You're not stuck with the PT time. You also get, it might be better value for money because you might see a PT a couple of times a week in person, but they're probably not looking at your nutrition. They're not like in your pocket really supporting you every step of the way. So there's a benefit in online there.
Excellent. And you're like real active on Instagram.
Yes.
And that's where I see women.
Yes. Yeah.
And so where can people find you on?
On Instagram and TikTok, my handle is Nicole Tovey _FitLife. I'm on Facebook as well.
So Tovey's Tovey.
Tovey, that's right. Yep.
Thanks. Well, I'll keep liking you.
Thank you. Appreciate this.
And I'm not a 35-year-old woman, but you can be anything you want these days, can't you? If I identify as that, then people need to accept it. Yes. No, they don't.
Yeah. Don't bring up to lost for words, but hey.
No, I'm not buying into any of that.
So I think you're not committed to my team, sorry.
No. And is there like a community there, or is it all just the client and you? What are the clients?
No, we have a community as well. So there's, I host a group on Facebook. There's group chats and everything. So all the ladies can chat through. I do live trainings a couple of times a week for that like continuing education, the mindset training, nutrition and stuff. So every week I'm jumping in there a couple of times a week to teach other things, talk about things, answer questions, like in a group setting. Yeah.
Awesome. Well done. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for your story.
Thanks.
If anyone's listening, you're a 35 plus lady and you want some help, Nicole, see it.
You could.
Thanks. Awesome. Thanks, darling.
Thank you.
This is When I Grow Up with Glazby.